Rise and shine, Rwanda. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of December.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Java and Google are just two of the worldwide tech giants that are embracing Africa's growing ICT potential. Meet J-Certif.
It's Tech Tuesday, how one telecom company intends on providing fast internet at an affordable price.
And celebrating 80 years of Akagera National Park, Rwandan students pay homage through art. Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahario. Over the next hour, we will bring you all the latest news, sports, and lifestyle headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team are here with us in the studio right now. What is going on in the world of business, Fidelis?
Well, we all know that Liquid Telecom invested a lot of money in the Rwandan ICT sector. Well, I went to find out, what that money is going towards and basically what will be benefiting from it all. So I have all the details today.
All right. What about you, Arnold?
The latest from what Regis would really love are the NBA, Kobe Bryant new records, and Rayon Sport failed to go to the summit of the league.
I cannot wait for the sports section.
Okay, Alan.
So it was the 80th anniversary of Akagera National Park, and I got to meet some young students who paid homage through arts.
Nice. Good
Interesting.
stuff, good stuff.
Right.
All that and more is still to come, but first, Rise and Shine's Story of the Day.
Bringing together passionate African community leaders dedicated to growing and empowering communities through ICT. That is the mission of J-Certif, an independent and non-profit organization that promotes collaboration and communication between tech user groups across Africa. J-Certif is holding a 3-day conference in Kigali, during which it will provide free programming courses and workshops for local internet developers. I went to check it out. It's raining geniuses and the likes at J-Certif Kigali 2014. J-Certif International is an independent and non-profit organization which brings together passionate African community leaders dedicated to growing and empowering developer communities through ICT. It sees the potential Africa has and understands it could rival ICT giant countries worldwide.
Java for mobile or Java for enterprise?
On veut que demain, l'Afrique soit l'Inde d'aujourd'hui, soit la Chine d'aujourd'hui. Et ça se prépare aujourd'hui, ce type de déploiement. On veut être le berceau. On a déjà le berceau de l'humanité, on va être le berceau de la technologie et c'est quelque chose qui est possible. C'est ça le futur de J-Certif. Et chaque pays, chaque communauté, chaque participant dans la salle aujourd'hui va contribuer à cette émergence.
During a 3-day conference here in Kigali, engineers, entrepreneurs, university students, and government employees will be offered free programming courses and workshops for local developers on web and mobile software development.
Development dukeneye ku banyarwanda mu myaka iri imbere muri nkuko icyerekezo cya 2020 kibivuga. Programming icyo gihe izaba ifite uruhare rukomeye mu kudevelopinga ama software azagira ikintu afasha igihugu cy'u Rwanda.
It is without saying that Rwanda has become an ICT hub and the future couldn't be brighter for the country.
Comme je sais que l'ICT est dans les premiers goals du pays, je leur ai demandé de venir ici pour enseigner nos jeunes, leur permettant d'accéder à des produits qui plus tard devront les aider à créer leurs propres emplois.
Today's world belongs to those embracing new technologies, and there's no reason why Africa should lag behind. Regis Isheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda. And with us now in the studio is the founder and managing director of J-Certif International, Max Bonnell. Welcome, Max. How you doing? All right, so let's first talk about JCertif International. I mean, this is something that's not just African, but it's something that wants to see Africa rival the big tech hub, the big tech countries in the world.
Exactly. JCertif is an organization and a non-profit organization, and we are present in many countries, not only in Africa, as we say, but also in Canada and in France. And now we are developing many communities over there in the world. So the goal, the principle, the main goal of JCertif is to be the biggest platform and the biggest network of developers in the world. Why not? Because the development is the next thing for tomorrow. Everything will be connected tomorrow. Everything, your watch will be connected. Your glasses will be connected, etc. So in the middle of this innovation, there will be one kind of people, the developers. The developer will be in the center, the middle of innovation we will see in the next coming day. So we have to prepare, we have to be prepared, but now it is all about JCertif.
Okay, so JCertif International, it's in a lot of different countries around Africa, and like you just said, it's also in Canada, it's around the world. What motivated you to move to Rwanda?
In Rwanda, you know, now, today, in just past month or year, Rwanda is becoming an example in Africa about technology, about motivation, about the commitment on ICT. And when I met with Madeleine, a really good woman, we talk about our communities and our actions. You say, oh, that is a great things for Rwanda. And I came here just some weeks ago, and I met with many people. I met with the Minister of ICT, and I was just convinced that
they share the same vision as you do.
Exactly. I met many people. We are sharing the same vision with me, and we are dreaming about a big set of developers in for countries.
Now the thing is, you're actually, when we talked earlier, you were telling me that you cannot wait to see as many African apps as possible. That would be amazing, right?
Yes, and you know, as I said, everything will be connected tomorrow, and application will be our first action we'll do when we wake up. Tomorrow when we wake up, the first thing we'll do is
check the phone.
Check the phone.
What's up?
And launch any application,
right.
etc. And so we will be in the connected world, and the developer will be in the middle of this innovation, and we have to prepare for that.
Right.
This, what I'm talking about today, it is not for 6 months. It's not for 6 months later. It's right now. It's doing right now. Mm-hmm. We have got this watch, the connected watch, a smartwatch.
It's a smartwatch, yes.
Got glasses, connected glasses, Google Glass, etc. I have an example in my bag.
Of the Google glasses?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I think we have to be prepared, and Rwanda is mature about that, and because people want to learn, people are very focused on ICT, and there is an politic voluntary, about that.
Now,
right.
Mr. Bonnell, you're coming from Canada. I mean, the connection there, the internet, how fast it is. How fast do you think we can get to that level here in Africa?
Oh, I think it is not about the faster of internet, You know, when I started with Gestartif just 5 years ago in Congo, people tell me, what you have spent your time with learning, training people about create applications. There's no computer, there's no internet connection, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if we wait all of these good things, it will be late. We have to start now, and one day we will got computers and internet. It is exactly what happened.
Yes, you were ahead of the game.
Exactly, exactly. Now we have a great connection. It's not. It could be better,
Right.
but there is a connection, internet connection, and there is many laptop on the ground.
Absolutely.
Also,
So we're there now in terms
so
of.
people are ready to develop. Yes.
Mr. Bonnell, so one of the most interesting things that I heard while you were talking earlier today was that the first time you even used email was when you were 22 years old.
Exactly, I was so old.
And now you are the president of Gestartif.
Exactly.
How did this happen?
It is all about passion. It's about passion and all about sharing. The more you share with people your passion, the more you got from them, and the more you learn from yourself, and the more far you can go.
Right,
It's
so I
all
guess
about
this
that.
is what these courses are going to be about. Is this one
For
of
the
the
next
things that you're going
Exactly,
to
the
be?
spirit. Yes, yes.
Well, Mr. Bonnell, thank you so much.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate you. We appreciate Gestartif.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Looking
the
forward to the
passion.
rest of the event.
Of course.
All right, and before we take a break, as we mentioned last week, we will be giving away 2 tickets to Turkey for our Turkish Delight competition. This week's winner is Ray Friday. His name is Friday. I wish I had your name, seriously. Who sent us a video imitating our very own Makeda.
It was crazy.
Hilarious. You win 2 tickets courtesy of Turkish Airlines to anywhere in Turkey.
And for next week, since it's our last competition, we would like you guys to send us a picture of yourself watching the show in an interesting or creative place. riseandshinerw@gmail.com is where you can send it, or you can simply tweet or Facebook us with the hashtag Turkish Delight, all right? The owner of the best picture will win 2 tickets to anywhere in Turkey. The deadline to send in your photos is on Monday at 8 a.m. Just after the show. The winner will be announced at the same time next Tuesday. You do not want to miss out on this one, all
Again,
right?
we were just talking about technology, and you couldn't do this 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, we're very high tech here at Rise and Shine Rwanda, so
right.
make sure you send in those selfies.
Absolutely.
You are watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Messi?
Hey kid.
Kobe Bryant? Would you like to have some ice cream, young man?
Ice cream?
Sure.
The best fly with Europe's best airline, Turkish Airlines.
Welcome back, and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's get to my favorite section of the show, the money. Business news coming to you through Fidelis Karangwa.
Three business stories making headlines today. Regional infrastructure projects received backing at the concluded East African Committee Head of State Retreat on Infrastructure Development that was held in Nairobi. Officials say that the projects, which include railway, energy, ports, and ICT, are expected to cost $1 billion. Development partners such as the World Bank and Trademark East Africa, among others, pledged to support infrastructure development and improve competitiveness in the region. Tanzania is set to spend more than $1 billion to upgrade 4 of its highways to boost trade within the country and with other East African countries. Officials say the targeted roads will ease transport between Dar es Salaam and the neighboring Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda to the Tanzam Highway and Central Corridor. This is expected to enhance regional and international economic integration. Now, Liquid Telecom recently announced its expansion and investment plans of its operations in Rwanda, which will enable more businesses and homes to access high-speed broadband services across the country. Well, I spoke to Mr. Sam Husi, chairman of Liquid Telecom in Rwanda, to find out more about this project, and started by asking him some of the challenges that they've been facing so far.
We acquired a small company initially, Altex Stream. That was very small. Our biggest acquisition was Rwanda Tel. Rwanda Tel was in liquidation. It had a tired and retired infrastructure. Revamping it. So the challenge is, while we want to leapfrog, it has to go with the skills. For the first time, we don't have the legacy problems where we are bogged down with old technology. Anything introduced anywhere in the world, we can introduce it here in Rwanda. But having said that, how do you jump from a skill point of view and have people who know all that? That's one. The second part, which we are trying to overcome, are regulatory issues. We want to do a lot at the same time. Those barriers that delay our progress are things we are working out with the government, with the regulator, with the policy, like that.
As much as there are internet services here in Rwanda doing a lot better, the cost for accessing them is still very high. So what are you as Liquid Telecom going to do to make sure that these costs are relatively less expensive, especially for the people here in Rwanda?
Once we have the infrastructure, our system is not going to be generational. We don't say 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. That's why I've been telling people I'm launching even 7G before the world is launching it. We are not limited by speed. So now there's no need why we are not launching all the TVs, video on demand, the IPTV, the movies you want to see. When will people really feel it? Give us 2 months. I had hoped we'd do it for Christmas, but there are some delays. If we overcome them regulatory, we have the means, we have the finances, we have the technology, and that is going to happen. Come February, we must be launching all that. Internet capacity at the bulk level is cheaper here in Rwanda than the rest of East Africa. In Kenya, 1 megabit per second is $300. In Uganda, around 350. Landlocked Rwanda, which is now linked, which has connectivity from Dar es Salaam as well as from there, is at $100. And I'm going to push it to be under 90. But that is the capacity. So the big challenge will be, if you are using other people's infrastructure, you have to add a margin on that. For us, we are the cheapest. We provide with global connectivity. We make it cheaper than anywhere else. The government bought capacity through a project of the World Bank. They paid 13-point-something million. They said at 125. You can imagine how much we've spent, and we are selling at 100. Actually, very soon, I'm lowering the price. But again, that is wait and see. So it is going to be affordable.
So according to you, what would you say is the future of ICT in Rwanda and Liquid Telecom in particular?
It shouldn't be the future. Actually, it should be now current, not rather than calling it the future. ICT as an enabler should be part and parcel of every Rwandan. ICT is something that is so cross-cutting. You don't even have to go to school to use ICT. Every farmer, every student, every doctor, every lawyer, it should be something embedded in our life. So we have to start in school. And actually now I'm really concerned. I've seen some university students who are not connected. They are not on Facebook, they are not on WhatsApp. They don't work, you know, there should be even a walk, an ICT style of work where you feel really you have everything like that. So if, to the young people, tell them, if you are not ICT literate, then you shouldn't be actually in Kigali. You should go to some other village and location. So Kigali is going to be a very smart city. It requires smart people. Even people should develop an ICT work or something while they are staying here in smart Kigali.
Mr. Sam Hosi speaking to us there in his office earlier. So what did you guys think of the whole video, basically?
I thought it was awesome.
There should definitely be a walk.
Yeah? He thinks there should be a walk?
I agree with him. I mean, if not everybody's connected, and we're saying we are a technology hub and an internet hub, it makes no sense. It should be everybody being able, I mean, it makes no sense that in 2014, some people are not on Facebook, like he was saying, some people are not on WhatsApp. These are the fastest ways to actually be able to talk to someone. So whether they be here or elsewhere. So I think he's right on that. It's good that he's heading a company that's actually bringing competition. So you'll have everybody else step up.
So, I mean, we only have 6 years left down the road until we're at, 2020. Actually 5, Lord, it's December.
It is the end of the year.
So, we really need to, to get it together and speed up, it was, like he was saying, it's one thing that the government is doing so much to provide us with all this, internet services and all this ICT technology equipment all over the country. It's another thing that we don't use it to the maximum. It's very important that people out here, he actually made a point, kept on telling me, please talk to the people, tell them. It's one thing that we're always downloading things off YouTube. Then what are we uploading on YouTube? What are we uploading to the rest of the world? Not just on YouTube, on other websites. So we want to take, we don't give, we should give. We should put ourselves out there. We should put our businesses out there. We should show them what we have by using
like
this.
Rise and Shine. We upload our shows every single day. Please check them out.
Exactly. So that's what he kept on saying, and it's very important that we take that from him.
Okay, Fidelis, one last thing before we go. We heard him saying that he even wants to be the one to launch 7G when it comes out. They seem to be extremely, they seem to be very ambitious when it comes to wanting to, push forward internet access and such things here in Rwanda. Do you think that's something that is realistic, and do you think it's something that's going to happen as fast as he seems to?
Definitely. Because from what I got from our discussion, it's not that Europe maybe has anything better than we do when it comes to internet service and all this. It's just they have better infrastructure and they can easily get the fiber optic tags there and fix everything. So that's the only difficulty that we're facing here in Africa and especially in Rwanda, and that's why we don't have these services already. But we're going to overcome that, especially with all the efforts that we have that are being put into infrastructure, and we're sure that eventually, very soon, we're going to have perfect internet and generally ICT services in Rwanda especially.
Well, the money just told you it's coming.
Okay, thank you so much, Fidelis. And now you are up to date with today's business headlines. Sports news is coming up in just a moment with Arnold Quizera.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Sports news now with me, Arnold Quizera. Rayon Sports blew their chance to go to the top of the National Football League following APR's loss to Gichumbi on Saturday. Newly promoted side Sunrise held Rayon Sports to a 1-1 draw in the National Football League in a game played in Ramagana. Blue striker Isaac Muganza opened the scoring from a Peter Otema pass in the 31st minute to give Rayon Sports an early lead, but Patrick Munyakindi equalized from the spot in the 79th minute after Alpai Majambere committed a foul in the penalty box. Rayon Sports squandered the chance to go top of the league summit after Gichumbi stunned APR 1-0 on Saturday. The Blues maintained second position with 18 points, 2 behind APR. Meanwhile, Mukura registered their first win of the season after a hard-fought 3-2 victory over Amagaju, while Police snatched a 1-0 win over Isongo to bag maximum points and end their 6-game winless streak. Two international sports, starting with boxing. The much-anticipated Blood War 2 fight between Derek Chisora and Tyson Fury lived up to its expectations as Tyson Fury moved a step closer to a world title shot. After a snappy start to the proceedings, Fury opted to settle into a repetitive pattern rather than finish off Chisora with a burst of aggression. With the crowd calling for Chisora's head, Fury maintained his undefeated run as he convincingly beat his British rival with a technical knockout in the 10th round in a match played in Manchester. Fury is next expected to take on the highly rated former Olympic champion Anthony Joshua or one of the Klitschko brothers for a shot at the WBA, WBC and IBF World Heavyweight Boxing titles. And finally, the NBA. Lakers needed overtime to win against the Raptors on a day when Dwayne Wade made his return to the starting five and the New York Knicks losing streak continued. Kobe Bryant had his first triple-double of the season as his 31 points, 11 rebounds and 12 assists led the Lakers to an overtime victory over the Toronto Raptors. Bulls guard Jimmy Butler scored a game-high 26 points, 16 of which came in the first half as the Bulls manhandled Brooklyn. The win came in the final game of the Bulls' 7-game road trip, a stretch where Chicago went 4-3. The Bulls also received 25 points and 13 rebounds from forward Paul Gasol. Guard Derrick Rose on his return also added 14 points. Dwayne Wade scored a season-best 27 points in his return to the Miami Heat in an 86-79 win over the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Carmelo Anthony returned to the Knicks after missing the last two games with back spasms, scoring 31 points, while Amer Stoudemire added 19 points and 12 rebounds.
So let's start with the NBA here. Clearly, you know I'm exalted because some great things happened the other night. I mean, first of all, Kobe Bryant is now the only player in basketball history to score 30,000 points and have 6,000 career assists. The only one. And yet this is someone, apparently, I've heard, that doesn't pass the ball. What do you have to say about that?
Kobe Bryant passes the ball. He's not a ball hog. In fact, when you look at the efficiency with most people have been comparing Kobe Bryant to Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Now, LeBron James is the only player over the past 7 seasons to be among the top 10 assists leaders and top 10 point scorers, something Bryant hasn't done over his career. But again, Kobe Bryant is Kobe Bryant. To me, I will put him on that Mount Rushmore before LeBron James. For the moment, he has more rings. He has stood the test of time. You know, he's 37 years old. He's the oldest player ever to score a triple-double in the NBA. You know, now he has moved ahead of Larry Bird and Michael Jordan in those standings. So,
it feels like every time he plays against the Raptors, he's more motivated than ever because it's against the same team that he scored 81 points, which still stands as his game record.
I think that's his team. Everyone has a good day out. You know, Dwayne Wade always against the Knicks pulls out his best games. We've not had the best of Dwayne Wade this season, but he comes back again against the Knicks and, you know, puts in 27 points, his career high for the season. Kobe Bryant, the same with the Raptors. And when you look at the Raptors coming into this game, you know, they are looking like a playoff team. So you expected with the Lakers, the way the Lakers have been playing over the past games, maybe to blow it against the Raptors. But, you know, the Mamba showed up and he showed us why he is the
Mamba, baby. All right, let's move on to something else. Tyson Fury. I mean, can we say that the heavyweight category is back because we don't have the Klitschko brothers yet. They're not
Yeah.
back. We cannot really say if Anthony Joshua won a challenge.
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury. So he beats Derek Chisora. We also how it went. Quickly, do you think the heavyweight category is really back in the news?
I think it may not be this year, but over the next 2 years, with Anthony Joshua gaining more experience, Tyson Fury at the age of 29 years, you feel he has about 2 or 3 more years in him. David Hayes saying he's coming back into boxing. The Klitschko brothers, very boring style of boxers, I'm sorry to say, but they are world champions for a reason. You would feel Tyson Fury, this generation Tyson Fury, the British boxers, Derek Chisora, Carl Crouch, Anthony Joshua, the heavyweight boxing is going to go back to what heavyweight boxing is. And when you look at the history of boxing, we've had great boxers coming in from Britain, the likes of Lennox Lewis, the likes of Matthew Simmons. All these were great boxers, and they came in from Britain. The best coaches in the game, the likes of David Rocha, have all had their roots in Britain. So you feel heavyweight boxing is going to get back to what it used to be.
Thank you, Arnold. I miss the days of Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis personally. All right, we'll be right back, Makeda 9, right after this.
You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at news-making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The Service Investment Forum kicked off in Kigali yesterday and brought together investors to discuss ways in which Rwanda could become a service hub on the international scene. Under the theme Rwanda to Africa Growing Beyond Borders, the two-day forum is expected to provide opportunities to both the public and private sector from the region and across Africa to grow their businesses. Participants showcase trade and investment opportunities to international investors as well as discussions on policy issues related to the sectors in order to improve the business environment.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry is set to reduce import bills by increasing locally made products on the domestic market. Officials said that this would be done by increasing the quality and quantity of locally made goods and services. Rwanda's economy mainly depends on agricultural produce like coffee and tea, and exports such as tourism. It is hoped that in 6 years, the country's import bill will be reduced by 18% if all measures are implemented.
Regional military and police officers completed a one-week training on which they acquired skills to help solving conflicts in their respective countries and in the region. The course, which brought together participants from Rwanda, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, and Uganda, was aimed at providing them with knowledge on conflict understanding and analysis. Officials say that they were confident that the officers will apply the training acquired in the various conflicts around the world.
And in international news, suspected Boko Haram militants have carried out attacks on the city of Damaturu in northeast Nigeria. Official and residents said gunshots and explosions were heard and the base of the riot police was reported to have been set on fire. Boko Haram has repeatedly targeted 3 states despite the fact that they are under a state of emergency. Authorities have struggled to defeat the militant Islamist group, which has been waging an insurgency since 2009.
Time now for a review of the headlines. Sunny Hayomja from the New Times joins us now to look through some of the front pages.
Welcome, Sunny.
Thank you guys for having me once again.
Now we've discussed this actually. Even yesterday we talked about World AIDS Day. Now, what does that mean for us here in Rwanda?
Well, the World AIDS Day, its major theme this year is how to get the mass media to make people think, the issue is not yet solved. Right now, you find that in a lot of African countries, while the AIDS rate had been going down over the last, it's starting to rise up again. And people believe, the experts believe it's because the mass media has kind of taken off its foot off the pedal, and it's taking things for granted. Right now, like in Rwanda, I got a statistic today that kind of scared me. The statistic is that one person every 30 minutes is a newly infected, gets a newly
That's in
infected
Africa.
case. No, that's in Rwanda.
Wow.
Every 30 minutes, that's one person. So that's to say that per day, that's 48 Rwandans.
Wow.
And that might seem small if taken without the, like,
It
in
doesn't
the
seem
larger
small,
context.
actually.
Not at all.
I mean, if you compare us to, say, South Africa, where we're doing pretty well, but there's a huge problem. And you actually find that it's the youth in Africa that is going back into those kind of behaviors, that unsafe sexual practices that maybe a few years ago they were kind of scared of doing, and
Do you think
there's
people feel like there is a cure? And maybe
no, I
it took
think
foot off
the
their
whole
pedal?
issue of the ARVs.
Yes.
Yeah, people have started taking things for granted. It's no longer a death sentence. Governments are not putting, I believe, as much effort as they used to. I mean, if you look at the way Ebola is in everyone's mindset, and yet the fact is it's not killed more than 5,000 people.
Right.
As compared to AIDS, which is a death sentence, 100%. There's no way that you could. So I feel, and the UN has also talked about that maybe the media can do a little bit more to kind of still, bring it up into like daily conversation once again.
people.
Right. Let's talk about someone that I really, truly love, Louise Mushikiwabo, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, the Honorable Mushikiwabo criticized the French president, François Hollande, saying he made some remarks in Dakar during the Francophonie summit that he shouldn't have made to begin with. What was your take on it?
Well, it's Louise, if she can bear that I call her Louise, had a bit of an issue with the remarks he made, which were, in her words, a bit paternalistic and neo-colonial, saying that African leaders need to do this, African leaders need to do that. Well, she's right on one aspect. Africans have to have that respect. However, the fact of the matter is, he who pays the bills calls the tunes, And until Africa gets out of the pockets of the French, of the Americans, it's very difficult for us to then
Stand up to them.
Stand up to them. I mean, not to take lessons from them, because at the end of the day, what are you going to do? They pay your bills, they pay your army, especially the French, if you see in West Africa. And
especially in an organization, a summit of Francophone-speaking countries, right?
Yeah.
So you can't expect anything.
No, I mean,
less.
if they in Uganda, they say big is big, And until we get to that level, then we will continue being, treated like children. And Rwanda and the rest of Africa has to, there was a time when China was being treated like this, but now it became rich. Now all of a sudden it gets a seat on the table. It's maybe our time.
Could this spark kind of a revolution? Because by Honorable Mushikiwa was saying what she said, could this wake up other countries? Because there's a lot of countries that are still kind of under the tutelage of France. You were mentioning West Africa not too long ago. So could that help them actually rethink the way they approach their relationship with France?
Well, it depends. It goes both ways. We in Rwanda are very lucky that we have a leadership that is able to stand up and have its own vision. Right. I cannot say the same in a lot of the other African countries.
Right.
So it will be nice. It plays very well to the African gallery, but will it actually change the way the leaders perceive their own destinies? I'm not too sure.
Right, and before we have to close up, I want to move on to the last headline. There have been some amendments to the law surrounding Mutuelle Santé.
Mutuelle de Santé, yes.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, Mutuelle de Santé was supposed to come and make sure that everyone had
insurance,
medical insurance, which it did, quote unquote. They actually found that in the last couple of years, when at the beginning it had 90% of the population were on Mutuelle de Santé, every year it's been going down lower and lower and lower. And people are saying it's because while we pay the premiums, Mutuelle de Santé premiums, when we go to, say, get medicine in the pharmacies, they are no drugs. So the doctors advise them to go to private clinics, private pharmacies. So all of a sudden, people are saying, well, if I'm not getting any service, what is the point? So what they're trying to do now is say, okay, this is the problem with Mutual de Santé was it was not in the right system, so they're actually going to hand it over to RSP, which is the Rwanda Social Security Fund, and maybe think that maybe linking it to such a major fund, which knows how to deal with money and knows how to deal with that, maybe it will be more efficient. But they say that the pudding is in the tasting, so we do not know if that is what will happen. I don't know if it will be more efficient, but we can only pray and hope, and then maybe see next year. Will more people be signing up?
Right.
That's all we can.
Makena, don't you feel more knowledgeable when you talk to him?
Always do. Thank you so much, Sunny. And lots more is still to come. Alan Karakire is up next with lifestyle and a look at what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics. We will be right back.
Celebrating 80 years of Akagera National Park, Akagera Management Company teamed up with 3 secondary schools in Kigali to create an art exhibit inspired by the national park. Over the weekend, I went to see some of these students who showcased the pieces of art with the theme 80 Years of Conservation in Akagera National Park. Let's take a look. In October this year, students of Green Hills Academy, International School of Kigali, and École Belge de Kigali visited the national park to experience the attractions and learn about the history of the park, conservation efforts, and tourism. Hosted at Green Hills Academy, the students got a chance to showcase their creative pieces of art to their peers and parents. One of these young students explains how she got inspired by what she saw in the park.
So as I looked around, I would see different camping sites, and around the tents I would see termite hills, a lot of them, and it was really interesting. And I'm interested in architecture, and I believe it was some kind of natural architecture, so I decided to make an anthill. The art exhibit drew a large crowd of spectators and art lovers. Even the little ones appreciated some of the creative pieces.
We try to incorporate art into other kind of subjects to see that they try to link art to whatever they're trying to do with their projects and geography and things like that. So they're very much excited about the program. The exhibition also had an element of competition, giving students a chance to win annual passes to the Akagera National Park. I caught up with 2 of the winners who explained to me how their art piece had a powerful message against pollution and the effects it has on animals.
It's about pollution, how the real giraffe is drinking and the fake giraffe is all covered in pollution, and you can no longer see the sunset here because it's so polluted and it's all dirty.
Yeah, so this is the sunset behind here, and then if this water is clean, it's supposed to reflect, but then it's not.
Akagera Management Company hopes that partnerships like these would help influence more local tourism and exposure to the park.
And to get that exposure, we thought it would be really good to deal with the schools in Kigali, but also assist them in being aware of what's in Rwanda, but also conservation. And bringing the kids will also make the parents and adults interested and give them a chance to go on the weekends to the park.
Of course, I had to ask whether he had any favorite piece.
It's very hard to pick a favorite. They had, the topic was 80 years for Akagera, and that was why people won with regard to the giraffes. But it was all fantastic. There were some very good patterns of the zebras. I did like the lions, and in fact, we've actually offered the girl who did that to actually come and see how we're going to move the lions in.
That's right, you heard it first. The director says they plan on having lions in the park sometime in the beginning of next year. So whether it's lions, zebras, or antelopes, these students have shown us that there's a lot to explore in one of Africa's oldest game parks. Alan Karakire, Rise and Shine, Rwanda. Welcome back. All right, joining us now is this Green Hills arts teacher, Mr. Gilles Gracioule. I hope I pronounced it right.
That's perfect.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So I want to know, what was it like for your students? Did they enjoy being part of this exhibit?
Yeah, they were totally excited about this project.
I must say I was really impressed. Like, these kids are very talented. I mean, you get to see really that kids have a lot of talent. Did you expect them to be that good? I mean, you're the teacher, so...
No, I wasn't surprised.
No, you weren't surprised.
I'm spending every day with them, and yeah, they are very talented, yes.
Okay, so now tell me, as far as arts itself, because I feel like maybe, specifically in Rwanda, a lot of people don't take art seriously. Now, is that the case in school as well? Do you find that people don't take arts as an important subject, let's say, compared to math or English or French or any other topic?
Well, actually, in Green Hills Academy, art and design is considered to be one of the main, subjects, and well, it's very important to promote creativity in Green Hills Academy, and I think that we can even put even more effort to promote and to bring even more lights to the talents to young generation in Rwanda.
Now, I have a question for you. So you've been here a few years teaching in arts. Do you find that, because Green Hills is doing well and it's a private school, but do you find that it's spread out through other schools, the arts? Because I feel like maybe, let's say in public schools, you probably won't be able to see a lot of arts. What do you think? Do you think that I'm right by saying that?
I don't know. I can't really mention about the, every school in Rwanda, but I don't think that art is been taken seriously in many of the schools, and that's a bit pity.
But why do you think that? Do you think it's because they just think that it's not as valuable as other subjects?
Maybe could be that people think that you cannot be successful and you cannot make a living out of it. And there are many artists that prove the opposite right now.
Yeah. Now, if someone was to say that maybe because a school doesn't have a budget to put towards arts, is that a valid reason to not have arts in a school?
I don't think so. I think even with a pencil you can be extremely creative, and you can open young people's eyes to the world, to life, to details. And I think it's just a perception. It's a will to open mind, people, young people.
Yeah. So basically, arts is important.
It's extremely important.
I mean, I don't think you would say otherwise. Otherwise, you wouldn't be an arts teacher.
That's right, and an artist as well. But I think art allow young people to express their emotion, express their dream, their ideal, the utopia, and their ideas, their own ideas.
Right.
I think art should be one of the main subjects in the curriculum of any school, and I think to shape a future society, we need creative people.
Do you have hope for arts in schools here in Rwanda?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. When I see every day my students emancipate themselves and produce amazing work.
Like what we saw today.
Yeah, that's right. So it could happen in private school, but I'm sure it could happen also in public school.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jill.
You're welcome.
All right, coming right up is Hot Topics. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's that Hot Topics time again. As always, you can join in on the debate by sending us a message on our social media, whether it's on Facebook or on Twitter. Let's get into our first hot topic. This one is one I kind of enjoy because, our foreign minister, Louise Mushikiwabo, had an interview right after the Francophonie Summit, which took place in Dakar, Senegal over the weekend. And basically, she gave a response, but I want you guys to check it out before we talk about it. Let's have a look.
qu'un président qui est avec ses pairs ici au sommet de la francophonie viennent ne pas discuter avec eux, mais dicter ce qui devrait se passer dans leur pays. Je trouve ça d'ailleurs assez inélégant. Qui décide de l'avenir politique des Africains? Ce n'est pas Paris qui décide, c'est évident. Ceci dit, le président français peut bien exprimer son point de vue, il peut donner des conseils à ses pairs.
Now, I don't know, some of you guys may not understand. Did you understand what
No.
they're saying?
Oh, I'll translate for you if you
You know what,
want me to.
Regis? I'll let you do it.
All right,
Go
so
ahead.
she's saying it makes no sense that a president coming at a summit where there's going to be other heads of states, his peers, is talking down to them or on them,
Being condescending, basically.
and she says it's inelegant.
Right.
It's not elegant,
I love that
elegant at
word.
all.
Yeah, I got
It's
that
beautiful. Inelegant. It's beautiful.
I was
But
like,
the
it's
key-
so elegant the way that you're
but
saying
the
it.
key
Elegant.
word, the key word in what she's saying here is peers. You talk to your peers as equals.
Right.
You do not, but it's that thing where they're used to it because probably his dad, his grandfather had, I don't know, they were colonial, like whatever.
Right.
They did things here that they were not supposed to do. And now they still feel like they own part of Africa or the whole Africa.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. She stood up and I was so proud of her.
You know, it's funny because we're always used to the president speaking up, but it's nice to also see our foreign minister speaking up as well. Basically, she's telling him, why are you telling us how we run our countries? Just because, you know, like you say, you come from a colonial country. This is 2014.
Exactly.
You can't talk to us that way. Unfortunately, I feel like there's not a lot of African leaders that speak up the way our government does.
But you cannot, at the same time, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say she's just another great example of a really strong and opinionated and very smart African struck mainly Rwandan woman who's just ready to speak out her mind and say what needs to be said for things to be addressed. I just love that about her. I think it's a great example.
Absolutely. And just before we move on to the next topic, let's just say things the way they are. She is the mouth of the country. She's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
And the official
We should hear even more from her. She speaks English perfectly, French perfectly, Kinyarwanda perfectly.
Yes,
so I love that woman.
I love her
I
too.
love her.
I'm surprised Arnold doesn't have anything to say.
No, I had a lot to say, but let's move on to the next topic.
All right, on to the next hot topic. So this one is one that, unfortunately, it didn't start out right, but it ended right. It's about a baby. 10 years ago, this is actually in December 2004, a woman gave birth to a baby and then dumped her in a drainage pipe. Dumped the baby boy. The baby boy was luckily found alive and was put in an orphanage. Now, this foster family you see here, that's the names are Jimmy and Carrie Lakey, adopted the boy and took him at the age of 3 to the United States. Now, the story doesn't end there. He returned recently looking for basically his childhood friends. Now, some of the friends that he knew as a child, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, are out of the orphanage and with families. So the family had made a promise. In fact, they have a non-profit organization called River's Promise, because his name is River, whereby they had promised to help all the kids who were his friends back in the orphanage. So because the orphanage is no longer there and the kids are all gone, they decided to basically help other young,
Orphans?
No, not orphans, underprivileged kids. And so far they've helped build 4 houses as well as 100 children. They've paid for their education and, providing nutrition and all the kinds of stuff. So I just think it's a positive story. And the fact that he got to see his best friend, that picture you just showed, that's him meeting his childhood friend called Kwizera. And I just thought that was a positive story. And it goes well with the whole Christmas spirit.
You and
giving
Kwizera.
Of course, it's called Kwizera.
Kwizera, was it you that was his childhood friend? No.
Yeah, but anyway, the kid got to come back and meet his childhood friend, and I thought it was just a great
Giving
story.
back, giving back, giving back.
It's
Christmas
Lesson learned,
time.
give
It's
back.
Christmas time. It's Christmas time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Got any other topics?
You know what? I just feel like, what are you guys going to give back? That's going to be my topic.
Well, it's my birthday today. How about y'all give me something?
Happy
We're going to
birthday.
stop talking about your
Okay,
birthday.
second
It's
thought
his
it
third
was.
birthday of the year.
Oh. All right. I don't know. I think for me, giving back,
Are you giving back this month?
Yeah, I think we're all going to be giving
Yes,
back
we
this
are.
month. We have some, and that's soon to come. So stay tuned for that. So we're all going to be giving back. But you know what? I feel like this is a month where it's easy to. They say that you should give something every time that you can, right? So if every day you can give the smallest thing, you should. So I feel like December, I'm going to make it my duty to every day try and, give someone something, do a kind gesture.
Exactly. There's no reason to commercialize it, make it a business. I mean, if it's a day you feel, if it's the 25th of March.
What are you giving back?
A lot of love.
Fidelis?
I'm already giving back. I'm advocating for people to give back. I'm spreading the word. That's giving back one. And two, of course, I'm going to give back, well, I don't know. I'll see financially if I can afford it, but mostly just my efforts and my energy wherever it's needed to just help out
Just
in
say
any way.
financially, you're the money.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
I'll get the money.
Look out for everyone's plans to give back this holiday season. And don't forget that we love to hear your plans to give back as well. And also your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us ideas for your programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and reports that we do. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We love to see your photos. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website. Well, that's all the time that we have for today, but don't forget that we love to hear your feedback and do let us know if you have any ideas for the program. You have been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Makeda Mahario.
And me, Regis Isheja, will be here same time, same place tomorrow. Do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and all these great guys you see here, and everybody that's somewhere you guys are not seeing, have a very good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.